Tell me about you, man. Like, you've been doing this for 9 years, you know? And I know the guys, the guys like you, they trust you, they know you. And that's why I wanted to have you on today. You know, you're like the guy, you're the man of the people there. You understand them, their problems, and they know that, which is a big deal. How do you keep doing this? I know last week you said, Brian, you know, I lost somebody died, one of my guys died the other day, and it's just nice having you coming in here with this energy and Thanksgiving, and that's a nice thing too, because it makes my job, you know, fun in that way too. How do you do what you do every day? And why do you do what you do every day?
Yeah, that's a good question. So to start with, there are periods where I'm like your wife was last night. I'm broken. It feels like there's no... For a moment, you're in the middle of something where you wonder how the way back is, how we get back. And
Because it all gets to you sometimes.
yeah, because you lose people that you connect with. And you know, them 12 people I talked about, you know, 4 of them I felt really connected to, you know, and it's difficult, you know, it's difficult in the middle of that. You know, one of them, he was housed, and I was going to his house 3 times a week before or after work. You know, if I was going in before, I would go in and I'd chuck him the newspapers. Just, here you go, Bob. Newspapers, he couldn't move too much, you know, and just chuck him the newspapers, and we'd have a wind up. He'd have a wind up, wind me up about supporting West Ham, and wind him up about never seeing Chelsea win another thing. And you know, and you connect, and then when they pass away, even if you're expecting it, that's hard to take in. But how do we keep going? We keep going for the one. The focus is not on the 12 that's passed away from June. The focus is on everyone that gets recovery, every person that makes a step. And you need to look to every step that one person makes. So if someone walks in my door, it's a step. When we done Thanksgiving, there was plenty of new people. That's their step. They've walked in to our door. That's a step for them. If they start coming and do gardening come next springtime, they start spend some time and build a relationship with us, that's a step for them. Maybe they haven't trusted anyone for years, and now they start to build a relationship with us and trust us. Maybe pre-abstinence group is a step. It's quite a long step.
Pre-abstinence is thinking about abstinence, having conversations
yeah,
about
and
abstinence.
often people come into that group and they don't even know they're going to be thinking about it, because they walk into a group of 4 people and they're completely chaotic, and I say, come be a part of our community. And the guy's been there for 3 months, he knows exactly what the group's about, and the guys just turn up first time, maybe don't fully understand what's happening. And so, you know, someone introduces the group and asks the person who's been for 4 months how their week's been, and they automatically start talking about their addiction or their recovery. Even they could be in recovery for a month maybe, and then that automatically means a person who's first walked through the door, who's sitting next to another person who they sit with all the time, who's now admitting they're an addict and don't know how to stop, they start to think, am I an addict? If that person is, I'm doing equally as much. And their first thought, the first time that they thought, am I an addict? That's a massive step for someone. And then, you know, from there we try to encourage abstinence for a period of, you know, we'll try to for good, but first of all we're saying, let's get through today, let's get through tomorrow. They've been there for a while, maybe then they start doing weeks at a time, maybe they do months at a time, you know. And we have people that, you know, they do fall out of the recovery centre at Acorn House and they come back to me, and it usually takes them a week. But like, if I know they've fallen out, I go and find them. I tell them, come back to the drop-in. But they're embarrassed. They don't want to tell me that they've failed.
Right.
But it's not about that, because I tell them it's not about that. It's about our relationship. We're friends, right? So come into the drop-in and get a sandwich. Why are you starving on the street when I can give you a sandwich? You know, and I kind of turn it on them to say, like, I'm not offended that you did. I'm not offended that you've relapsed. I'm offended that you don't think that I'm a friend to you, that you can come back to me. And when they begin to get that, that's the change. That's, you know, and often it takes 4 or 5 times before people get recovery. They're going to rehab. They're not necessarily our one, but through their life. And I think it's, in my role, it's my responsibility to be a friend to these people, no matter what they do. You know, we had a guy robbed our office, you know, and then a week later I'm going, I don't even care, you know, like, whatever. You smashed my computer up, you smashed my window. It was a bit annoying. It was the day before Prince William come. We were still in the office at 10 at night, cleaning up the office. You know, and then the next week I'm going, no, the important thing is that you get recovery. You know, and he went back into Acorn House. You know, because the important thing, you know, I can replace everything in that office. I can't replace a person's life. So yes, there's consequences, but often the consequences are more within someone else, within themselves,
Right.
than any external consequences. They beat themselves up and literally sometimes kill themselves through the addiction, through, you know, other things as well. And, you know, that's what we don't want. We're here to help and encourage these guys, women and men, to move on. And that's where I get my hope from every step that I see. From the day that they walk in the drop-in, to the day that they go to gardening, to when they're in the women's group. I don't go in there, but I still get reports back from my staff. And when I hear that Sanso's doing this or doing that, I'm encouraged. That encourages me. That gives me hope. Hope that we can do this. I hope that people can change. And I've seen it so many times that people have changed that I have no doubt that anybody can change. I have no doubt. But I need to impart that same hope that I have for every individual into that individual as well, so that they can believe. And so often we believe for them until the point that they can believe for themselves. And that's what we're all about.
You still didn't tell me why you're doing it.
I'm doing it because many reasons. So one reason is my own faith. Yeah, I believe that we're all made in the image of God. So I believe that it's important that everyone understands that and knows that. I've lost 2 cousins to addictions. My last one was the year before last. And he was my closest cousin that I had. He was 34 at the time. And just the addiction was too much for him. And when I'd done my triathlon, I was turning 40. And I used to cycle out to Lakeside and do a big loop. It's about, 40 miles or something. And he lived out in Dagenham, so I knew I would always come back on a Thursday morning shattered, because going out there, I'd, kind of give it some, but then coming back was when I'd reflect. I don't know whether your mind just gets tired or whatever, and I was doing it like 5 in the morning anyway, so. And I'd remember my cousin and what it meant to me and the fact that he isn't here anymore. And it pushed me. So I'd get back at like 6 in the morning after a day's work, and I'd drained everything out of my body. So, this is... So I have personal reasons for wanting to see homeless, addicted people have what my cousins didn't have, And my mum also was in addiction before I was born, and she's never gone back on that. And I've always said, if I can be half of what my mum was to me, to my children, then I will feel that I've been a success. And so that's what, as well, they're a few of my drivers to get me to do what I'm doing.